something.
Now on News 6, a new proposal to recruit kids to Orange County Public Schools, how a consultant might be able to help with enrollment numbers. Plus, lot rental prices continue to rise in mobile home communities.
People are putting their houses for sale because they just can't afford it.
The bill that could offer financial relief. And the push to spend millions to lure the Jacksonville Jaguars and WWE events to Orlando. This is News 6 Mornings.
Hey, good morning on your Tuesday. It's 7 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Mormith. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan is here. She's in for Candace with your forecast.
It's hot.
It's hot out there.
And dry.
Yeah,
it's all that.
We're used to it by now.
Yeah, it's pretty crunchy out there. We're going to keep the dry conditions around as we go through the next several days. But here's a look outside. Gorgeous. The sun is up. We are looking at some high-level clouds across central Florida. But here's what you need to know to get you out the door. Hot and dry drought conditions continue across the peninsula. Now, staying hot all week, certainly not feeling like spring. And then the next best chance for rain, or I should say showers, won't be until Sunday. And we are looking at a small chance for that. As we take a look at your current temperatures here, good morning, Sanford. You're at 64. The Village is at 65, 61 out in Wildwood, and 64 degrees in Melbourne. So here's a look at your out-the-door forecast featuring my pet of the hour. This is Blue. This is Justin Perrin's dog. Look how cute he is. And the reason why his name is Blue, because he's got the bluest eyes ever. And I'm digging those curls. Love it. If you're about to take your dog out for a walk, we'll continue those clouds across the central Florida. Winds out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. We're at 75 around 10, 82 around noon. And check this out. Temperatures once again above average in the upper 80s in Orlando, Kissimmee, Sanford. Lower 90s in the Villages and Ocala, 92 in Wildwood, and then along our coastal communities staying in the lower 80s. Now, today is Earth Day. There are so many events happening across town. Also out in Daytona Beach, we are still continuing Jeep Beach, and there's a coastal cleanup event out in that area as well. The weather is going to be fantastic for that. But again, just make sure you're paying attention to your body. If you overheat, because temperatures will be fairly warm today, make sure you're staying hydrated and taking frequent breaks. So coming up in a bit, we'll talk more about the rain chances and the heat. But now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Crystal.
All right, we're seeing a little bit of improvement along the Polk Osceola County line after a crash blocked some lanes along I-4 eastbound near US 27. Traffic moving at 45 miles per hour. But then when you pass US 27, you run into that normal morning traffic. So you have that to look forward to. Here's a live look with the DOT cameras. This is getting towards Champions Gate along I-4 eastbound. So you're starting to see traffic slow down just a bit as you're getting to that little patch of traffic. But then you're back at speed heading towards downtown Orlando. Justin.
Crystal, happening today, the end of an era in Brevard County. After 84 years in operation, Rockledge Hospital is officially closing its doors. But this morning, there are still big concerns about what that means for the future of healthcare on the Space Coast. News 6's Mark Lehman following the latest live for us this morning. And Mark, Orlando Health is again defending its decision to make this move.
Yeah, the healthcare system says it's being forced to close the hospital here because of the building's poor physical condition, and it's just too dangerous. And all of this is sparking concerns about a gap in medical coverage for this community. It's been part of the city's landscape since 1941, but now Rockledge Hospital is closing its doors. The decision was made 4 months after Orlando Health purchased the property from Steward Healthcare, and they say it's because of this. The new owner releasing pictures yesterday of mold, corroded sewer lines, and other damages they say is from decades of neglect. Last month, employees protested the closure, with a nurse telling us the building should stand until a new hospital can be built.
This hospital was certified before the sale or they wouldn't have been able to buy it. You know, ACA's been in here, Joint Commission's been in here, state regulatory agencies. Corrective action was already taken before the sale.
Local officials, including the mayor of Rockledge, have also expressed concerns about the impact on the community. Orlando Health says it plans to invest $750 million in Brevard healthcare facilities, including a new hospital, but a timeline and locations have not been announced. And with the closure here, Orlando Health says nearly half of the employees at Rockledge Hospital accepted jobs elsewhere within the company. All of this is happening as another healthcare chain has also said that it plans to expand in parts of central Brevard County. We're going through that for our next report coming up at 7:30. For now, reporting live in Rockledge, Mark Lehman, News 6.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Mark. Live pictures now from the Vatican, where 9 days of mourning are officially underway following the death of Pope Francis. In just the past couple of hours, we have learned that the Pope's funeral will be held on Saturday.
And leaders from around the world, including President Trump, say they will be there. The Vatican said yesterday the Pope suffered a stroke, which led to heart failure not long after taking part in services for Easter. The faithful have been flocking to the St. Peter's Square to mourn the 88-year-old's passing, with the Pope's body now laying at St. Peter's Basilica. Many saying they will remember Francis for his unorthodox approach and for being inclusive.
The fact that he spoke up for immigrants, the fact that he came from another part of the world.
He sort of set the groundwork for a broader, more accepting and loving and welcoming church.
World landmarks also paid tribute overnight. The Eiffel Tower went dark. New York's Empire State Building lit up gold and white. As for picking a new pope, that process is going to take some time. During the 9-day mourning period, cardinals from around the world will gather in Rome and begin talks about their visions for the church. Then in 15 to 20 days, members of Papal Conclave will isolate themselves and start the voting process until a candidate reaches a 2/3 +1 majority. That's the point when we'll see that famous white smoke coming from the Sistine Chapel, an indication that the church has a new leader.
Happening today, a man is set to face a judge in Osceola County accused of stabbing a woman to death, a crime that happened more than 3 decades ago. 72-year-old Gene Stuller was arrested yesterday. Investigators say he killed 27-year-old Julie Sue Wilbanks back in 1991, then left her body on the side of Neptune Road. Police say older DNA evidence allowed them to narrow down the list of possible suspects, but it wasn't until detectives were able to get a new DNA sample earlier this year when they were able to finally make the connection.
In March of this year, our detectives conducted surveillance and successfully obtained a discarded item. It is 1.9 trillion times more likely that the DNA came from Gene A. Stuller than from an unrelated individual.
Stuller is charged with second-degree murder and is currently being held on no bond. New this morning, the man accused of murdering 13-year-old Madeline Soto claims he's obtained confidential information about the case. Now another court hearing will take place today. Stephen Stearns has pleaded not guilty to raping and killing Soto. Later this week, a judge was planning to hear arguments about whether jurors should be allowed to see evidence seized from Stearns' cell phone. But now, Stearns wants that court hearing delayed. According to his attorney, the defense has obtained, quote, confidential information that may impact the presentation of evidence at that hearing. The defense has not provided any details about what that information could be. Today's hearing is set for 11:15.
Also new this morning, a former local teacher is pleading guilty after being accused of pushing 2 young boys to commit sex acts over video chat. Investigators say Italo Benini offered an 8-year-old boy and his younger brother money for the popular gaming site Roblox in exchange for performing the acts. Bonini was a chorus instructor at Hunters Creek Middle School. According to federal court records, he's agreed to plead guilty to enticement of a minor to engage in sexual activity and production of child porn. A court hearing is set for May 1st.
How would you like to see another WrestleMania come to Orlando? What about some Jacksonville Jaguar football games?
Heck yeah! Happening today, Orange County commissioners are set to sign off on spending millions of tourist tax dollars to try to make it all happen. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is live outside Camping World Stadium with the details. And Stephanie, when we're talking wrestling and NFL games, that economic impact could be huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just this past weekend in Las Vegas, WrestleMania 41 It was there, and they were projected to bring in $215 million to the Sin City with that event alone. And now Orange County is looking to get in on that revenue. Sports and Orlando go hand in hand. At least that's how the city hopes people describe it soon enough. And the county commission might spend millions to make that happen. First with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The NFL team is shopping around for a temporary home while Everbank Stadium is renovated. They want them to choose the City Beautiful, so the county's considering approving $11 million in funding to lure them to Camping World Stadium for their 2027 season. The venue's recent $400 million upgrades could make it a top choice. The Tourist Development Tax Sports Incentive Committee recommends that the county make this move. They're also in favor of an $18 million agreement with Visit Orlando to bring the Octagon and wrestling ring to Central Florida. The bid would be to have WWE and UFC championship events at Camping World Stadium and the Kia Center between 2026 and 2031. Visit Orlando says this will not only bring money, but buzz. In a statement, they said opportunities like this offer key media exposure, help drive overnight visits by encouraging travelers to come for the game and for the fun, and add to the entertainment choices locals can enjoy. Yeah, I mean, you could watch the Jacksonville Jaguars play right here at Camping World Stadium soon. But Orlando isn't the only option on the table for the organization. They're also considering Gainesville. We do know that the NFL team could make the decision on which place they will call their temporary home as early as next month. As for the Orange County Commissioners, they will be meeting this morning at 9. In Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
See what happens. Could be pretty exciting. Thank you, Stephanie. All right, 7-Eleven now. Let's get you back to your weather. 7-Eleven. A lot of people trying to make that stop. All right, today is Earth Day, though, Michelle, and it's going to be a crunchy Earth Day for Central Florida.
It is. It's going to be a crunchy, dry, warm Earth Day. So if you want to plant a tree, do some coastal cleanup, anything outdoors today, you want to make sure you are staying hydrated. So just a little information. Earth Day was held first on April 22nd back in the 1970s, and now it is an annual event supporting environmental protection. And this year's theme is our power, our planet. So let's continue to take care of our planet here. And talking about that, check out this beautiful sunrise in Cape Canaveral. This is from our Launch Credit Union camera. Temperatures are at 61 degrees and humidity is at 94%. I promise you will feel every little bit of the humidity today. Winds will remain pretty light out of the east-southeast between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now temperatures across the peninsula, Wildwood, we're at 61. Good morning. Palm Coast at 63, 64 in Melbourne, and 68 degrees in Leesburg and Claremont. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour planner. We'll continue to see plenty of clouds as we go through today by 10. I do think we'll be in the middle 70s, 82 degrees by noon, 87 by 2, and then hitting a daytime high of 89 degrees in Orlando. Now, for the rest of Central Florida, Wildwood will be the warmest spot today with a high of 92, 91 in Ocala, the Villages, 88 in Sanford, and then along our coastal communities in the lower 80s. And again, winds will remain pretty light. You may pick up a gust up to 10, even 15 miles per hour. Now, the big question is, when is it going to rain? Not at least in the next 5 or 6 days. We'll have a weak frontal boundary that's going to move through on Sunday. Because the air mass is so dry over Central Florida, we're not going to see a whole lot of rain. Right now, I'm only calling for 20% chance for that, some sprinkles, some light showers. And then as we head into our Monday, we'll still see a few residual showers, but really not the rain we need. Now, coming up in a bit, we'll talk more about all of this in my full forecast. But now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Crystal Moyer.
A crash just came in Seminole County, a wreck along I-4 westbound just before you hit 436 near Altamont Springs. It's off to the side. We're not seeing any major delays, but heading westbound, you will start to slow down as you're passing through the Lake Mary area. So just keep that in mind. Where we are seeing those heavy delays down near the Polk Osceola County line. There was a crash there earlier this morning, blocking some lanes. So we're seeing some heavy traffic on US 27 north and along I-4 eastbound. That's backed up for about a quarter of a mile now. Once you get close to the Champions Gate area, this is those normal delays that we usually see on the eastbound side. Stop and go for a mile or two, and then you're back at speed.
7:13, not paying your student loans could soon lead to the government garnishing your wages.
Still to come, what you need to do now ahead of a quickly approaching deadline. But first, a deep spring cleaning may be on your to-do list, but do you have the right products? We put the top brands to the test to see which ones really work.
First, though, the frustration surrounding daily congestion on I-4. The local county looking for the governor to take action and what they're set to do in just hours to try and get results. You're watching News 6 Mornings. We'll be right back. Happening today, Seminole County leaders are pushing to speed up a big construction project on I-4, and they're turning to Tallahassee to try and get results. Today, commissioners plan to send a letter to Governor DeSantis asking him to consider speeding up the widening of I-4 over the St. Johns River Bridge. Always backs up there, right? They hope that would get rid of the major congestion that backs up. News 6 reached out to the state last week. FDOT said it's reviewing the project and more recent traffic studies to see if the current concepts should be revised to meet future infrastructure demands. Also happening today, the Trump administration expected to take action to remove artificial food dye from the nation's food supply. That's according to a media advisory sent by the Department of Health and Human Services on Monday. So the FDA announced in January, while President Biden was still in office, that it had banned the use of red dye number 3 in food, beverages, and ingested drugs. The Trump administration appears poised to take action on a broader set of petroleum-based synthetic dyes used to make food and drinks brightly colored and more appealing to consumers. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the FDA Commissioner are expected to share more about the administration's plans today.
It's that time again for spring cleaning. Get excited. But a good cleaner can make all the difference, right? With so many options, how do you know which ones get the job done? In today's Insider Consumer Reports puts household cleaners to the test, revealing their top picks. Over the last year, Consumer Reports experts put dozens of cleaning products to the test in real-life situations.
We were looking to find effective and versatile cleaners that are also gentle on surfaces and that don't contain irritating or harsh ingredients.
Looking to streamline your cleaning arsenal? Consumer Reports says Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day Multi-Surface Concentrate is a great choice for many surfaces and messes.
The beauty of choosing a concentrated cleaner is that it can replace nearly all of your other cleaners while offering an efficient way of cutting down on plastic and landfill waste.
A concentrate isn't as convenient for quick everyday cleanup like wiping down kitchen counters. Instead, consider this Mr. Clean Clean Freak multi-purpose cleaner. It handled greasy stovetop oil, sticky maple syrup, and everything in between. For tougher jobs that need extra scrubbing power, Consumer Reports suggests keeping a powder cleanser on hand. Among 4 tested powders, Bonami Scratch-Free Powder Cleanser stood out as a safe and effective choice for most surfaces. Sometimes you need more targeted cleaning. The Goo Gone Grout and Tile Cleaner delivered noticeable differences on dirty grout.
Our evaluators commented on the Goo Gone scent because unlike many grout cleaners, it was mild and pleasant.
When it comes to glass, Spray Away Glass Cleaner delivered outstanding results on mirrors and windows. It is Earth Day, so here's another tip. Instead of using paper towels, you could save money and the planet by using washable cotton cloths or microfiber towels. I posted Consumer Reports best tested cleaners on clickorlando.com/insider.
Speaking of Earth Day, News 6 got a jump start celebrating and picking up litter just like Crystal just did here in the studio. Our News 6 I know you will, I'm just kidding. News 6 ambassadors picked up bags of litter in the neighborhoods right near our station along John Young Parkway near Orange Blossom Trail. So we were surprised by just how many plastic straws, water bottles, food wrappers we found out there. But the number one thing that we all reported finding that was really troubling was cigarette butts. So, yeah, I mean, it always frustrates me. I know it frustrates a lot of people when you
It's littering.
Hold on.
when you see them flicked out.
Oh yeah, she has to pick up her trash.
I
There
picked
you
it up
go.
off the floor.
Good job.
I don't litter.
Look at that.
I don't litter in here.
No, we don't litter.
Yes.
We don't litter.
Good job. Be the example. I love that.
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth
You've done your
Day.
part.
I've done my
You've
part.
done your part. That's all it takes. Look how small that was, and look how clean it looks now.
That's right.
I'm not going to slip and fall, or I have to look at it, or anything like that. All right, here are your headlines. I'm done. We're looking at another hot and dry day across Central Florida.
Doing my part.
Doing your part. There you go. If we all just come together and do our part, man, this planet be a better place, right? Now, because of the dry, warm, breezy conditions, now the winds won't be as strong as they were yesterday, but the fire danger is still elevated. Rain. A lot of people are asking, well, where is it? Unfortunately, we're not looking at any significant rainfall as we go through the next several days, maybe some sprinkles on Sunday, but that's about it. Now, I do want to talk about this. Right now, we are in our dry season, and the dry season criteria, we're looking at the humidity levels dropping, and then we're seeing less rainfall each and every day. We're really not seeing those strong cold fronts come through as we used to, and the sea breeze storms, remember those? They become fairly rare, and hopefully that will pick up soon at the end of May. Now, rainfall totals here so far for the year, you could see in Orlando, we are a little over 5 inches below average. As we head to Daytona Beach, 6 inches, and then we're still in that 5-inch range in Sanford as well as Leesburg. And last checked, Daytona Beach right now ranks number 2, second for the driest April on record. And again, those records were set back, or they go back up until the 1800s. So very dry across the peninsula, and because of that, we're still continuing those drought conditions, and unfortunately they will worsen until we get that significant soaking rain. Now, temperatures, we're looking at 65 degrees in the Villages. Good morning. Claremont, Leesburg at 65, Orlando at 65 as well. As we head to our coastal cities, 62 in Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach at 63, and then Titusville coming in at 64 degrees. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast, we'll see plenty of clouds as we go through today. We're at 85 degrees around 1, 88 around 3, and then staying in the upper 80s as we go through the rest of your afternoon. Now, your forecast highs, 88 in Sanford, DeLand, but we're in the 90s over our western zone. So that includes Claremont, Leesburg, 92 in Wildwood, 91 in the Villages, and then comfortable along the coast in the lower 80s. So there's a quick check of the latest fire danger index. Last updated here, still looking at a high risk over parts of Osceola, Orange, Seminole, Lake, and Sumter counties. Now, I do want to show you your clouds and rain forecast just to show you it's going to be dry all week. Jumping ahead to Sunday, we'll have a weak front that's going to move through the area. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon looks fine, but not until the evening hours. We'll see a few isolated showers here, and this is the GFS model, just really showing again those showers popping up. We'll still see some moisture hanging over the area, and then a few coastal showers are possible as we head into your Monday afternoon. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. If you're now tuning in, good morning. 89 today. It's Earth Day, 90 on Wednesday, upper 80s Thursday and Friday, and then staying in the lower 90s heading into the weekend, and a few showers Sunday and Monday.
Thanks, Michelle. Local mobile homeowners having trouble making ends meet.
At the bottom of the hour, why some say their costs are skyrocketing and the relief they're now asking for.
But first, the time to stop putting off student loans may be now, when your debt could head to collections.
New this morning, the Department of Education is pleading with anyone with student loans to start making a monthly payment. The department says it'll restart collecting federal student loans in default on May 5th. This will end a roughly 5-year-long pandemic-era pause and could impact more than 5 million borrowers. So if you don't pay, the agency could order non-federal employees to start withholding money from people's paychecks. Experts say you should enroll in an income-driven repayment plan or sign up for loan rehabilitation. Well, those terrifying moments at Orlando International Airport after a jet packed with passengers catches fire.
Straight ahead, a look at the flames there as many begin to use the emergency slide to rush off.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
A good Tuesday morning. I'm News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan. We are starting off quiet and pleasant across Central Florida. A bit muggy. Check out your current temperatures. Orlando at 65, Claremont and Leesburg at 68. Cooler in Wildwood at 61 and Daytona Beach coming in at 62 degrees. We'll see plenty of clouds as we go about our day, thinning out a bit as we get closer to noon with temperatures in the lower 80s. And check this out. Once again, it's going to be a toasty day with highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s across Central Florida.
All right, let's get to your traffic now. We are dealing with a traffic alert. This is in Osceola County near Kissimmee. A wreck blocking at least one lane along US 192 westbound just north of the Turnpike. Traffic moving 15 miles per hour. A lot of folks using the Turnpike northbound as an alternate route. You're also slow there at 20 miles per hour. So allow plenty of extra time. Also, Seminole County, we're still seeing a wreck I-4 westbound just before 436. No major delays to report there. The news continues next. Remember, you can get updates on our big stories anytime you want on clickorlando.com.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Live with clickorlando.com. You're watching News 6 Mornings.
7:30 now. Let's get a check of our top stories. A man is set to face a judge in Osceola County today, charged with murdering a woman more than 30 years ago. Police in St. Cloud said recently obtained DNA evidence helped them make their case against 72-year-old Jean Stuller.
The Vatican says the funeral for Pope Francis will be held on Saturday. We learned yesterday the pontiff died after having a stroke that put him into a coma not long after he attended Easter services at the Vatican.
It is the end of the line today for Rockledge Hospital in Brevard County. Orlando Health says it has no choice but to close the doors because the building is in such bad shape. The company still isn't saying where it plans to build a new hospital.
Turning now back to your weather, a mild start to our Tuesday, but it's going to get hot.
It will be hot out there. Live look over downtown Mount Dora. Pretty quiet for
I
now.
can feel the sizzle.
You can feel the sizzle already, huh? It ain't that hot.
Not
Come
yet.
on. It's not like July, August time. Let's get a check of that forecast with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. She's in for Candace.
The emphasis.
Do you feel it? It's going to be hot.
I feel something. It's humid for sure. I just stepped outside not too long ago, and my manager saw me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I'm just, feeling the air, see what's going on. Yeah, we're looking at a muggy and hot, dry day across Central Florida. Drought conditions will continue and also worsen as we go through today and also the rest of the week because we're really not seeing that needed rain. Staying hot all week, and the next best chance for some showers won't be until Sunday, and I'm only placing a 20% chance for that. Light showers at best, and it will be short-lived. Now, as we take a look at your current temperatures, Palm Coast, Ocala, Wildwood, starting off in the lower 60s. Orlando, good morning to you at 65. 64 in Melbourne and 64 degrees in Titusville. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. We'll continue to see high-level clouds. We're at 75 around 10, 82 around noon, and then seeing a daytime high of 89 degrees in Orlando. Now, for the rest of Central Florida here, 91 in the Villages as well as Ocala, 89 in Kissimmee and 80 in Cape Canaveral. Today's Earth Day. If you're doing anything outside, make sure you're staying hydrated and take frequent breaks. Now we'll talk about that warming trend or the heat as we go through the next several days, and also the rain chances coming up in a bit. But now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Crystal Moyer.
We're still following that traffic alert in Osceola County. This is in the Kissimmee area. A crash along US 192 westbound has blocked at least one lane just north of the turnpike. So traffic there moving around 15 miles per hour. The turnpike heading northbound, if you're trying to avoid this, moving at 20 miles per hour. So you will see some delays on the turnpike and US 192 for about a quarter of a mile. Hopefully things will start to clear out as that crash is pushed off to the side. I'll keep you updated.
After today, Brevard County's oldest city will no longer have its own hospital.
Rockledge Hospital is officially closing after 84 years. The decision came months ago and faced backlash from the community. Orlando Health said the building is too old to repair and the cost too high to maintain it.
News 6's Mark Lehman joins us live outside the hospital this morning. And Mark, what's the plan once the hospital shuts its doors for good?
Yeah, that's really the big question. Orlando Health says plans are in the works for a new hospital, but they haven't said where or exactly when that will happen. What we do know is with this closure, nearly 300 hospital beds are going away, and that's leaving a lot of people with concerns about the impact this will create in the community. Despite protests from employees in recent weeks, Rockledge Hospital is closing its doors today. Shutdown of the 84-year-old building is happening 6 months after Orlando Health bought it from Steward Healthcare, and they're saying it's because of this. The new owner releasing pictures yesterday of mold, corroded sewer lines, and other damages. Even so, one nurse we spoke with says the hospital should stand until it's replaced.
AHCA's been in here, Joint Commission's been in here, state regulatory agencies. Corrective action was already taken before the sale.
Orlando Health says it's investing $750 million in future healthcare facilities, including a new hospital, but timelines and locations haven't been released. Another hospital chain, Health First, tells us they plan to build a freestanding ER in Rockledge, but that's at least a couple years away.
Our 4 existing hospitals right now, we have bed capacity that we can expand, so are things that we are looking at from a temporary situation and a long-term solutions.
Now, Health First did release a statement talking about meeting the health needs of the community. We posted that under this story on clickorlando.com. As for the closure here today at Rockledge Hospital, Orlando Health says nearly half of the employees here have accepted other positions within the company. For now, reporting live in Rockledge, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Thank you, Mark. Some breaking news right now. Hillsborough County fire crews are fighting a large 3-alarm fire. Here's some video. Take a look. Quite the fire here. Firefighters say dozens of units responded to this area on Jensen Road. It appears to be a salvage yard. Just take a look at this scene. Wow. Right near Riverview. Right now, crews say there's no one hurt, but the fire is active and will be a, quote, prolonged event. We'll bring you more updates as we get them on air and on clickorlando.com.
We want you to take a look at this. Scary moments on a Delta jet in Orlando. Flames shooting from the engines and forcing some inside to use the emergency slides to get out. This happened yesterday just as the Airbus A330 was pushing back from the gate ahead of a flight to Atlanta. 3 people ended up hurt during the evacuation and had to go to the hospital.
They were getting ready to start to pull out onto the runway, and we were getting ready to angle that way. Then we stopped, and then all the shades came up, everything turned orange, everybody started freaking out, and that's when everything really accelerated.
Just a frightening experience there. We were told all the injuries were minor. Delta apologized for what happened, but there's no word yet on what sparked that fire.
Catholics around the world mourning the death of Pope Francis this morning. Here's some live pictures from Vatican City, where overnight it was announced the Pope's funeral will be on Saturday following the death yesterday at the age of 88. Among the mourners, 22-year-old Gabriella Peppern from Ormond Beach. She originally traveled to Italy to attend the canonization of Carlo Acutis, the first millennial saint. That has now been postponed, so Peppern says she'll attend the Pope's funeral instead.
We spent a lot of time praying today. We went to a church in Florence and said a Divine Mercy Chaplet for the repose of his soul. So there's comfort in that.
Back here at home, the Diocese of Orlando held a special mass yesterday to celebrate the Pope's life. His body will likely be transferred to St. Peter's Basilica tomorrow to allow worshipers to pay their respects.
Florida State University students returned to a somber campus yesterday after classes resumed for the first time since a deadly mass shooting last week. 2 people were killed and several others were hurt after officers say 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner opened fire on campus last Thursday. We told you yesterday how FSU school officials are giving students the option to either finish the rest of the year in person or remotely. Some students say being on campus right now is too much for them.
It feels disrespectful to the victims, and it feels disrespectful to a community that's still grieving to go back this soon.
Several FSU students are petitioning for the school to cancel final exams next week. As of yesterday morning, it had nearly 12,000 signatures.
Meanwhile, just days after that mass shooting, state lawmakers are backing off a plan to lower the age for buying rifles. Last month, the Florida House had voted to let 18 to 20-year-olds buy long guns, but now Senate leaders say that bill won't move forward this year. Some leaders say the recent shooting proves more gun control is needed, not less.
I'm sensitive to not politicizing this issue, but year after year, Democrats in our caucus file good, common sense gun laws, reforms that would help to make our community safer.
So for now, Florida's gun laws will stay the same, but with growing pressure on both sides, the debate could be taken up again in the near future.
Happening today, Orange County school leaders are set to decide whether or not to bring in outside help, all to try and increase enrollment. They say the numbers have been dropping in classrooms across the district, and that change could have major consequences. News 6's Angie Casada joins us live. And Angie, there's a lot of money on the line with this.
Hey, Crystal. Yeah, listen. So for every student lost to private or virtual school, the district says that they're losing state money. And right now, Orange County is saying that the students that make those moves are costing them tens of millions of dollars. So board members are set to decide today on this new student recruitment proposal to try and change that.
Orange County Public Schools is trying to win students back, and they're willing to pay for it. This afternoon, the school board will vote on whether to hire a private consultant to recruit families who left the district for charter, private, or homeschool options. The vendor would be paid $935 for every student they bring back. That's nearly $1 million if just 1,000 students re-enroll.
So we've seen a decline in enrollment over the last several years, in part due to COVID, and then in large part due to the taxpayer-funded scholarships. So what we're trying to do is just to market OCPS, to put out all the good things that we're doing with OCPS, and to show them that OCPS is a great choice for your student.
District leaders say changing demographics and an increase in state-backed private school scholarships are behind a projected loss of more than 3,000 students. And this isn't just an Orange County issue. Volusia County is staring down a $25.8 million deficit this year tied to declining enrollment. If fewer students return, it could mean less state funding and tough decisions down the road.
And I think you'll see a lot of firsts coming from Orange County Public Schools because, again, in order to survive, we're going to have to be innovative and creative and be engaging with our students to make sure that they stay enrolled in Orange County Public Schools because there is so much choice that they have out there, and we have to be able to compete.
Now, if approved, the recruitment work would start later this spring. Of course, we'll let you know what they decide at tonight's meeting. That meeting set to take place between the hours of 4 p.m. and 5. Reporting in Orange County, Angie Casada, News 6.
Thank you, Angie. Well, our hot and dry weather caused several brush fires to flare up in Brevard County. This one burning for a few hours yesterday in Palm Bay. It covered 5 acres near Babcock Street and St. John's Heritage Parkway before fire crews were able to finally knock it down. All fires in Brevard County now 100% contained this morning. But as we've been telling you, most of Central Florida remains at high risk for brush fires. We have burn bans in place. Just not smart to do any sort of burning out there. That's why those bans are in place.
Yes.
Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joins us now with more on that.
Yeah, taking a look at the latest fire danger index here, Justin, we are still under that high range over parts of Osceola, stretching into Sumter, Lake, and Orange, Seminole counties. Medium risk for Osceola, Brevard, and parts of Volusia and Flagler County, but nonetheless, the vegetation is super dry, and we are looking at continuous severe drought conditions across many counties. And as Justin just mentioned, we're still continuing those burn bans in Seminole, Lake, and Volusia counties. So just be careful with the burning. Don't do it. We were talking about it earlier with the cigarette butts. Be careful with that. Number one, it's also littering. As we take a look at the rainfall deficit here, not a whole lot of rain in the past 30 days. Many spots is on about 1 to 2 inches below average. So we do need the rain, and we're really not going to see that much needed significant rain as we go through the next several days. Now, temperatures are starting off comfortable in the 60s across Central Florida. Your hour-by-hour forecast looking great. We'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds, lower 80s by 11, upper 80s by 4 or 5 o'clock, and many of us climbing into the upper 80s, lower 90s, and we're looking at lower 80s along our coastline. Today's Earth Day, so if you're heading outside doing anything, make sure you're staying hydrated. Now, I'll talk about those rain chances coming up in a bit, but now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Crystal Moyer.
I just got in from FHP. There is a deadly crash. This one is in DeLand. A roadblock is reported on Lake Mack Drive and in Ez Street. I'm still trying to get some more information on this. What you do need to know is that this is in a rural neighborhood, so it's not going to affect any major traffic along 44 or County Road 42. I just wanted to let you know that that was going on. Heading back to the map here, we are still following some heavy delays, and this is in Osceola County, US 192, heading westbound. Remember, there's still a crash there near the turnpike, blocking a lane, slowing traffic down. I will keep you updated on this.
743, a case from 2004 is back in a Volusia County courtroom this week.
And after over 20 years, the case still isn't closed. Coming up, the latest on the resentencing trial for 2 convicted killers as jury selection picks back up today.
Plus, people getting priced out of their mobile homes. All new this morning, what a woman says is behind the hike and why a new law may not be enough.
with him. Jury selection continues today in the resentencing trial for two men convicted of Volusia County's deadliest mass murder. Troy Victorino and Jerron Hunter are once again facing the death penalty in the infamous Deltona Xbox murders. In 2004, they were brutally killed 6 people over a dispute involving an Xbox, and both were sentenced to death. But those sentences, they were overturned in 2016 after Florida required unanimous jury verdicts. A mistrial followed in 2023 when the law changed again. Now the process starts over, narrowing 75 potential jurors down to 12. And with this case, as you can imagine, being over 20 years old, it's hard to find people who have not heard about it. Jury selection will continue in court today.
It was supposed to be an affordable place to live, but now people are getting priced out of their mobile homes. They say corporations are buying up communities and then jacking up the lot rent. New this morning, News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden found out there is help, but more needs to be done.
It went from affordable to unsustainable.
People are on a budget, as well as myself.
Jody Hager's lot rent nearly doubling in 2 years. She started off paying around $480 a month, and soon she'll be paying $850.
Are they giving a reason for the increases?
No, just because they can do it, because there's no cap saying they can and can't.
Hager lives at the Spanish Village, a 55 and up mobile home community in Leesburg.
People are putting their houses for sale because they just can't afford it. They're on a fixed income, they're on Social Security, Medicare, and small retirements if they have any retirement at all.
Philip Roy is the HOA president. He told News 6 out of the 36 homes for sale in the community, 32 were put on the market because the owners can't afford the rent.
Last July, a new law took effect giving mobile homeowners and park owners the option to go to mediation over lot rent disputes. Under the legislation, civil action cannot be taken until the dispute has been submitted to mediation.
I do think that it has resonated across the state now. I think a lot of the other state reps have seen what's been going on.
State Representative Paula Stark, who represents part of Osceola County, helped draft the bill. If passed, House Bill 701 would allow them to apply for lot rent assistance from their local government.
Can you ever see a situation where Florida's legislature puts maybe a cap on how much it can increase in 1 year?
You really don't hear that being part of the solution, but I'm not going to say to you that that can't be part of the solution.
Lewis Bolden, News 6.
It was an adorable showdown at a Scotland race course as corgis dashed to the finish line in the annual Corgi Derby. They're so cute with their little legs. It's the 3rd annual event meant to be a tribute to Queen Elizabeth. The little dogs that the Queen loved most raced each other around the 230-foot course, with the winner getting a trophy. And they got to give them some treats. 4-year-old Juno stole the show, racing to victory after finishing 9th last year. The Corgi Derby began in 2022 to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, and it's been winning hearts ever since. Congrats, Juno.
I just can't get over their little jerseys and their little uniforms.
So
that they
cute.
have.
Adorable. And they ran, 230 feet, you said? So that's like 5 miles for them because their feet are their legs are so short.
That's like when I'm running track next to someone who's tall, their 1 step is like my 5 steps.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You gotta take a few steps to keep up with me. You're right.
Real fan.
Yeah, well, it's okay. You look cute walking, though.
Thanks.
Well, if you are doing any walking today, today's Earth Day. So I recommend get out there, enjoy the weather, enjoy nature, plant a tree, and do some coastal cleanup, across town, because there's so many events that will be holding that for today. So what you need to know, it's going to be a hot and dry afternoon. We'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds. Now, because of the dry and also the dry vegetation, the warm temperatures, slightly breezy conditions, I will say the winds won't be as strong today as they were yesterday, but we're still looking at an elevated fire danger risk. And the rain, well, where is it? We're still in that dry season range as we go through April, but we are looking at a few isolated showers as we head into our Sunday and Monday. Not a whole lot. A little sprinkle, but it should wet the grass a little bit. So as we take a look at the setup, here's why. We have a front that's beginning to stall out over parts of northern Alabama and also Georgia. So bringing some rain to those areas. Area of high pressure still in this general area over the western Atlantic, keeping things dry. We'll continue to see clouds stream across central Florida as we go through the morning and afternoon. But check this out. Beautiful camera view of Daytona Beach. It is quiet, seeing those clouds there across the sky. The sun is up. We're at 62 degrees. Winds are light, but the gust at east-southeast at 8 miles per hour. But look at the humidity here. 96%. So it will be quite muggy as we go through today and also tonight. Temperatures are starting off at 63 here in Reddick, 62 in Ocala as we head to Altoona at 61. DeLand, good morning to you at 62. Pine Hills at 64 degrees, 65 in Webster, Lake Hart at 63. And then our southern counties, Poinciana at 64 and then Deer Park at 65 degrees. So as I mentioned, today's Earth Day. Here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. We're at 75 around 10, 82 around noon, and then seeing a daytime high of 89 degrees this afternoon. Fire danger still high over our central locations here. That includes the metro area, and then we're looking at a medium to high range or risk in Marion, Flagler, parts of Volusia, and also Brevard County. Now, the drought monitor hasn't changed much yesterday. I do think it will worsen as we go through the next several days because we're not getting that soaking rain as we need. Now, the week will be dry. I jumped ahead to Sunday because that's when I think we'll see a few isolated showers. This is the GFS model, our long-range model. So we're looking pretty dry through the morning heading into the afternoon hours. We'll have a weak front move through and we'll see a few isolated sprinkles, some light showers as we head into Sunday evening, and then that residual moisture is sticking around as we head into Monday with a few coastal showers possible Monday afternoon. There's a look at your 7-day. 89 today, 90 tomorrow, upper 80s Thursday and Friday, a few showers around Sunday and Monday. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Crystal Moyer.
There was a deadly crash in the Volusia County area. This is in DeLand. This is along Lake Mack Drive.
Inez Street.
And Inez Street. Sorry, I can't see that tiny little screen there. At least one lane is blocked there. So it's a very rural area. Just make sure you watch out for any of the law enforcement on scene working this crash. It's going to take them some time to get everything cleaned up over here. Also down in Osceola County, there's still a wreck along US 192 westbound just north of the turnpike, blocking at least one lane, slowing you down to 15 miles per hour.
Well, an Uber subscription service now under federal fire. What customers say happened when they tried to cancel.
New this morning, insane video capturing the moments a semi-truck burst into flames on I-65 in Indiana. State police say all lanes were closed down for hours in this area of Jasper County yesterday. Take a look at those flames. Wow. Officials say the truck was reportedly hauling petroleum, which is probably why the flames are so bad, and a mechanical failure sparked the fire. Incredibly, the driver made it out safe, but just look at what's left of the truck after the fire crews were able to put out those flames. Wow.
Completely charred. Wow. Well, the Federal Trade Commission is suing Uber, accusing the company of charging customers for the Uber One subscription without asking. Uber One is a monthly subscription service. It offers perks like discounts on rides and food deliveries. Some customers claim they were billed during a free trial, never saw the promised savings, and then couldn't reach support to fix it. Uber responded in a statement accusing the FTC of rushing its investigation and said the complaint is based on, quote, misunderstandings. Well, of course, summer's right around the corner, and a local mall is making sure it is the place for teens to hang out.
Oh, yeah, the Oviedo Mall bringing back its Mall Rat Teen Club this May. Mall rats. The free program includes events like dance workshops, yoga, cooking, even candle making. The relaunch comes after recent break-ins and vandalism, which mall officials say prompted them to reconsider some safety policies for teens. To sign up, teens can apply online, but a parent must go to the mall. They must be there with them and approve the membership.
Oh, I remember the good old mall days. West Oak Malls for me.
Asking my mom to drop me off a couple blocks away so nobody saw.
And then you got to ask for some money too. Hey, can I have $10?
That's right. All right, you're looking at a hot and dry day across Central Florida. Highs in the upper 80s, lower 90s. Today's also Earth Day, so let's continue to take care of our planet as we go through the rest of the week. Staying dry, lower 90s, upper 80s, and the next best chance for rain won't be until Sunday. And I'm talking about some sprinkles, probably a little bit of mist. Not a whole lot, with a high of 93 on Sunday, and then on Monday, a few showers around as well. Crystal?
Just when you think we're getting something,
I know.
A little drip drop.
Yep.
All right, we're still following this deadly crash out of Volusia County. This is in DeLand along Lake Mack Drive and Inez Street. At least one lane is blocked, very rural area. Also, we're still seeing heavy delays, US 192 westbound, just north of the Turnpike in Osceola.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.